Hey there, and welcome back to the table. For the remainder of the year, I'm going to be doing these podcast episodes solo, just so everybody has, a good holiday. Um, so, it'll be good, I think, maybe. We're, I was reflecting on everything that we've done so far, and we've done, you know, 3 episodes with the pastor, we've done an episode with uh, Keith. We've done an episode with Melinda, and in all of the episodes that we've done so far, I've not had any chance to introduce myself other than, um, just getting started. So today we're going to talk about who is at the table, and this will be my introduction. So, uh, welcome to the table. I'm glad you pulled up a chair. Now, if you know who I am, that's great. My name is Travis. I'm the devotional leader at Apostolic Assembly of Faith in New Hope, Alabama. And I just happen to host this podcast. Uh, and I'm thankful for the position that I'm in where I can host the podcast. So everybody else has had 12 questions. So I thought, why not ask myself 12 questions? So, question one, what does the table mean to me? The table is nothing more than an opportunity to talk about faith, an opportunity to discuss things that sometimes we don't hear in a sermon at church. And it's not just a piece of furniture, but it's where we can have conversations and we can hear opinions on faith. Question two. When did I first realize that I was called to lead devotionals? Um, Honestly, I don't know. If I go back and think, and I told the story the other day to some of my friends, is there was a time when my sister was playing basketball, and it was a really close game, and the student section for our side was uh, already getting kind of like riled up a little, and they were, we didn't have our cheerleaders with us, so they were trying to cheer for our girls, and um, so during that time, the they were, doing cheers based off memory, and I believe it was 2017 or so, might have been 16, but the Christian rap artist KB had an album, and his song "I Believe" uh, was on that album. And at the beginning, there's this cheer. Uh, it's a call and response cheer, and this I believe that we will, I believe that we will win. And I got the student section riled up at this away game, and it was a rough game from that point. But the fact that I got these students all riled up even more, and I felt that um, I had led these students, you know, motivated them, and really pepped up our girls. I'd like to think that I had done my part, but had I not had the album from KB, and uh, You know, God was there to begin with when he wrote the song. So, long story short, had God not moved on KB to write that song and have that cheer included, I wouldn't have been able to, uh, rile up the student section. And it wasn't too long after that that uh, Pastor Wilson asked me to become devotional leader. So, was it the best advice I ever got? No, but it was definitely a spark in the right direction. Question number 3. How did Crossroad Quest Studios come to life and what does it represent spiritually? Crossroad Quest Studios is a project that I'm working on another channel called Crossroad Quest Studios. Um, and it's basically my creative ministry. Um, it's an extracurricular not attached to the church, um, but it's uh, a lot of storytelling that I do, and it kind of sparked life after last year, um, 2024, what I called the year of lemonade, and of course I called it the year of lemonade based off the phrase, "When life gives you lemons, make lemonade," and that's what I was doing last year was making lemonade out of every lemon that it seemed like life had given me. So there was a saying that came across, uh, in a whisper of the wind, I guess you'd say, that I'm not at a crossroads anymore, but I'm on a quest. And this will tie into question number 4. But spiritually, Crossroad Quest Studios is my creative ministry. Um, if I ever step away from AAOF, then um, Crossroad Quest will be, you know, where I firmly have a foothold. Not that I plan on leaving AAOF anytime soon, um, but there's a lot of stories within CQS that where I have been introducing characters and um, things that really just the word I'm looking for um, is really biblical and spiritually related. Um, so it's something that I look forward to seeing in full fruition in the future. Question number 4. You often say that you're not at a crossroads but on a quest. What changed that perspective? Uh, Again, the year of Lemonade really uh, was my turning point in my spirituality. Um, I made 2 devotional series based on Lemonade and created artwork for them. It was just a tremendous effort uh, in this moment or in that year of Lemonade. And at that point, at the turning point of the year, uh, after I uh, fell and injured myself, there was uh, there was a moment where it just became that I can't continue to be a bruised lemon. I can't continue to have lemons and continue to make lemonade if if I can't say that I'm doing it for a reason. So therefore, I couldn't keep standing at a crossroads looping back around. I had to be on a quest to move forward. Question number 5. Who is the stranger and what does he reveal about my faith journey? The stranger is a character that I'm working on uh, in Crossroad Quest. And the stranger is essentially me, but not exactly. It's a version of me that I have not yet met. Um, if that makes any sense. It's a future version of myself. And that's why it's completely strange to me. It's also based off of the bluegrass song Rank Stranger, uh, where in the song it says, everybody I met uh, seemed to be a rank stranger. And the meaning of rank there is not anything other than saying that I absolutely have no idea who you are. And uh, the stranger reveals about my faith journey that I still have a long ways to go to where God wants me to be. And no matter who I am in the past, that my journey is still moving forward. And I don't know who that person is in front of me. It's the same person that's in the mirror in body, but not in spirit. Question number 6. What song or hymn best describes your walk with God right now? Um, Good question. I I would say again rank stranger for the symbolism with the stranger, um, but also at the same time maybe hmm, I would still say rank stranger even though even though I have other places that I would like to say I can relate to this song, I can relate to that song, and a lot of times I can. But with Rank Stranger, I still don't know who I'm going to be in the future. I still don't know, you know, everything that there is to know about who I will become. So, question number 7. How do my creative projects connect with my calling and ministry? So, with CQS, um, like I mentioned, it's a creative type of ministry. It's a lot of storytelling, The Stranger being one of them. And um, there's just so much that I can do creatively that I can't do, you know, elsewhere. It's like for the sermons on this YouTube channel, you'll notice that a lot of them are audio only, and that's because of storage issues on devices and camera quality not being the greatest within the church. But a lot of it's audio only. But I have software that allows me to, take that audio and make video just for YouTube. So my creative projects connecting with my calling and ministry is where I can sit down and flex my creative muscles for the benefit of God. I mean, for the benefit of nothing but God, and just to say, hey, I can do this, but I'm going to give God the glory for it. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Question number 8. Which of the fivefold roles, evangelist, prophet, apostle, teacher, and pastor, do I feel most drawn to today and why? I still feel that I'm more of a teacher than anything else, but I do believe that there's a spark within um, each role that I could feel, but I feel more rooted in the teacher, um, just because I can I can sit down and break things down, and I can explain things, and there's just so much stuff that I like to do with teaching, and whether it be, you know, I'm not as good as I once was in math, but I can sit down and show equations, and in history, I love to sit and I love to read history, and uh, there's just so much that I could do there, and just reciprocating and saying that, hey, look at this cool thing that I found out about. That's what I like, is doing that, and that's just something I like to do. So when I sit down and I host these podcast episodes, and uh, I'm a good listener. I'm a great storyteller. I'm a horrible liar, uh, because I have really bad tells. So I can't play poker either. But yeah, I just feel so connected to being a teacher that, I again, I like to get on one on one with anybody. I like to learn as much as I like to teach. And that's my goal every day, is to teach one thing and to learn one thing new every day is my goal. Question number 9. What's a verse you return to when you feel stretched? When you feel stretched thin or weary? That would be what I've come to recently, is Galatians 6:9. uh, Grow not weary in doing good. And because I feel like I've always made some sort of positive impact, even when I don't feel like I did. So, an example is, one time I completely embarrassed myself, but at the end of the day, uh, my mistake was still rectified, and it while it felt like a mistake on my end, it was something that, you know was like, hey, we need to try to do this a little bit better. It wasn't necessarily a slap on the wrist, but it was uh, to me, it felt like a complete butt whooping, if you will. Uh, but it was just one of those things that, and I can't go into any more detail than what I'm doing now. But I mean, I felt bad about it, but at the end of the day, it was rectified, and it set an example, not for me, but for everybody. It's like, hey, we could do this better, and uh, the the idea of not growing weary and doing good has just kind of blossomed from that point. Question 10. How do I see faith showing up in everyday work, uh, whether it be, at work, on the road, or behind the microphone? Uh, Recently, and I may talk about this again in a future episode, provided I can get some more, I can let some more details go. But recently, we had a morale boosting party at work, and it seemed to do what we set out to do. Um, and, everybody liked the party, and everybody uh, liked their gifts that we had given during the party. And, um, it was a God involved party. There's no doubt about it. And it set an example in the party, or in the workplace, is what I'm trying to say. Um, to honor not just our coworkers, but uh, even as low on the totem pole as I am at work, we can still uplift one another. And if that's not some sort of faith, I don't know what is. On the road, and on the road is it was a different time for me, uh, because I was a delivery driver for the same company. But uh, on the road, as far as faith goes, I always tried my hardest to uh, overperform, I guess is the term I'm looking for. Uh, and make it back safe. And the whole time that I'm behind the wheel, um, I would be, singing or praying to myself, and you know, me and God, we had deep conversations behind the wheel. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And every time that I get to uplift God, even when I'm by myself, there's no better feeling. And behind the mic, again, I'm a great listener, and I just hope that when people listen to our podcast episodes or our sermons, that they they see how faith works, uh, with every guest, with every sermon. Question 11: what do I hope listeners feel when they tune into this podcast? To this episode specifically, I hope that listeners feel encouraged. That I hope they feel encouraged. That they're tuning in to somebody who's just a nobody, and that's what I am. I'm a nobody, and even though I'm a nobody, I can still tell you about somebody, and that somebody is Jesus. That is for sure. Um, because I myself am a stranger to myself, and I want you to feel. I want you to feel like you're not a stranger. I want you to be sitting at this table with me, and we'll discuss, things about faith that most people don't think to ask. Where whether it be, through creativity, through uh, deep dives, through the community, through the congregation, I want you to feel like you're sitting at the table next to us. So I hope that you feel encouraged when you sit down at this table, um, whether or not you're behind the wheel of your work vehicle, or you're behind the wheel of your personal vehicle, just listening to me ramble, or listening to um, a guest, talk about their testimony or whatever. I hope that you feel encouraged by whatever testimony is being brought to you. Question 12: if someone feels like a stranger in their own story, what would you tell them right now? Um, if you feel like a stranger in your own story, Um, I want you to go and look in a mirror. You can do it fully clothed. You can just look deeply into your eyes. And I do this daily. I look deeply into my eyes. So I want you to go to a mirror and look deeply into your eyes. And I want you to audibly, out loud, ask ask God to reveal the path that He has planned for you, whether it be 5 minutes from now, 10 minutes from now, 15 minutes from now, uh, 5 days from now. As you set those seeds of motivation upon yourself in the mirror, I want you to see the encouragement that you receive from God while you're looking at yourself in the mirror. And you know, I hope that God will reveal to you the path that He's laid in front of you. Um, whether that puts you in a position that I'm in, where you get to, flex your creative muscles, or whether you outperform at work, or whatever, God has you do. But I just, I felt like a stranger to myself long enough in my own past to my present, where to be able to visualize what I could be in the future. And I still need God to reveal to me how I get from here to there. So when I go every morning and I look in the mirror and I do this ritual of looking deeply into my eyes and audibly asking God, I need you to reveal to me what my path is for the day, for the next 5 minutes, for, you know, the next year. And that is that is what I could tell you, is when you do feel like a stranger, to specifically ask God to reveal what you can do to keep yourself on the path that He has laid you on. And those are my 12 questions. So this next week we're going to be talking uh, about, let's see, where's my outline? We're going to be talking about some of my creative projects, specifically with the stranger. Um, so I hope you tune back in for that, and we'll finish out the year strong. So thank you for joining me at the table. I hope to see you next week.